Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever may apply to you at the time you are listening. This is Boxcar Tales. I am one of the hosts, Ross. I am joined by...
Saul. He was getting ready to say the other podcast, wasn't you?
No, I actually wasn't. I was thinking how I wanted to word it. But yeah, we used to do another show. This show is new, obviously. So I might say the wrong name. And that's okay, because it still technically exists. Whatever. But so how's your week been going? And just if people are first-time listeners to us, we kind of do like an intro, just talk about our week a little bit. I don't think that's unusual in podcasts, but it is kind of what we do. So how's your week been going?
So my week, it's been fairly good. I've been trying to do little side hustles, as the young kids would say. Set up some businesses and everything, and make some monies. And my other job, I don't know, just cleaning rugs.
Yeah. Well, you worked, and so we have both worked at an awful lot of the same places. So over time, you'll probably hear some stories about those as things go on. Usually just pure chaos at everywhere we work, because it's been computers, carpet cleaning, and pharmaceutical.
Yes.
And we
quite the
the pharmaceutical has the most train wreck stories, which is very appropriate. That might make it to the light of day. My week has been pretty crazy. I have looked at we both have so many pictures of trains. Now we did that little mission statement however long ago. We don't love trains. It's we're not going to pretend that we're super train enthusiasts. So I'm going to say that probably for a couple episodes to make it clear. Not to say that it won't change.
We're not opposed to trains either.
Yeah, if you want to send us a real life boxcar, I don't know where we would put it, but we could turn that into a recording studio, which would actually be hilarious. So if somebody wants to get on that, more power to you. But yeah, I just feel like I've listened to so many songs trying to find intro stuff, working on logos and just setting things up. If you ever want to get into podcasting, it's really not hard to just start up and hit the ground running. However, the more you learn, the more particular you will get about things if you start up a second or a new show, or if you go from one to the other like we are, or it's I remember this or that. So at some point we might do something that's kind of walkthroughs like what we've done. There's a lot of resources, but we do intend to work on something for that.
Yeah.
So
to help people out, and it makes some money for ourselves.
Yeah, that's always good. So, all right. So I think that is probably enough. I mean, we're going to keep this pretty short today, and then we're just going to get into our topic. So I'm going to give us here we go.
All aboard!
All right. So you're going to do the topic today.
Yep.
You're going to lead us down the story or the discussion. Yep. So what do we got?
So I hate summer. In case you didn't know that. I know our new listeners probably don't know this, but I just despise it. Yes. So I have a list of things I hate about summer. Okay?
So the list of Saul.
Yes, the list of Saul. So you can either agree with me or you can disagree with me and tell me, no, that's completely dumb. You're a moron.
Okay.
And
whatever discussion may come out of the whole thing.
Whatever discussion may come. So, all right. So, number one, I mean, and this list is in no particular order, but this first one is.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask real quick. Do you have a set number? Is this a top 10? Or do you just have enough to fill however much time we're trying to hit?
I just wrote down things that I hate. So I'm at 16. So we'll see where 16 goes.
We'll see if we get all the way through. So
you know what? I may add more as this goes on. So. So the number one is the heat. I don't.
Yeah,
I have, especially where we live in Ohio.
yeah.
Uh,
Do we want to just claim Cincinnati because it's way easier because people have a general idea of where that is?
yeah, that's fine. So in Cincinnati, so when we have heat, it's never just see if it was dry heat like Arizona.
Right.
I think I wouldn't mind too much, but when the humidity and the dew points are like 70
Yeah.
and it's already 90 degrees outside, I hate that feeling.
So,
the Super Bowl,
yeah. Like the thing is, so here, and anyone who lives in the area knows, and I'm sure there's other states that are same, but yeah, like our humidity, when it's like 90, it'll routinely feel like 103. If you walk outside, you just immediately start sweating. There's days where you can like taste the air in your mouth. There's so much humidity. It gives you that weird cheek sweat.
yeah.
So one of the problems I run into is like I do like custodial or janitorial work, whatever you want to call it. I'm not too good to be called one or the other, but I have to run a dust mop on like a tiled floor. At a certain humidity point, due to the wax we use, I don't know, I don't understand it. The dust mop sticks. So like something that should take you like 30 minutes to do a whole building, all of a sudden you're just fighting the dust mop, throwing it down the hallway, just generally having a bad time. So going outside anywhere, like we got Kings Island as an amusement park in our area. Like there's days that you go there and it's just miserable. Because I mean, you got a ton of people and humidity, but it's like, well, we were going one way or the other.
I don't understand why amusement parks decided to use blacktop as their pass.
Well, so I have a theory on this. Is probably to try to drive up drink sales.
I mean,
or
it's not a bad strategy. I mean,
or it could be blacktop just holds up better than concrete. Like, you know, a less sinister reason, but I find it hard to not believe that the blacktop is to generate heat to maybe make you more likely to spend money. Because it's much like Vegas. Many things there are designed to turn you towards spending money.
Sure. I want cobblestones.
I feel like that would definitely be more expensive. That's like a Disney level kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
So, but yeah, so I don't know many people who are like the heat we're not just talking about like a warm 70-degree day here. We're talking like 90s and humid. Because I've been out to like New Mexico where it was 90, but it felt like maybe 75 or so because there was no humidity.
Sure. Well, and there's because I work with some people like this, and my wife's kind of like this. They're freaks. They like the heat, so they can go into the pool. And I'm like, the reason why you go into the pool is because it's hot outside. If it didn't have the heat, you wouldn't go in the pool.
Yeah, you wouldn't need it.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I like spring and fall, like those temperatures. But yeah, I'm done with 90. Like I remember being little, you know, like early or probably late 80s, I would say, is when I remember the specific thing. It was like third grade for me. We had like 109 for weeks at a time around then.
Yeah.
And it was awful.
Yeah, I mean, I remember them saying, you know, because you always hear about global warming, the Earth's warming and everything. I remember when we was kids, summers in the 80s, man, were hot.
See, I just remember like when we'd get the crazy heat. I don't remember the average temperature, how it was.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if like those temperature spikes were just insane. I don't care enough to go back and look at historical data on weather forecasts or anything, but yeah, I just remember like hitting like those heats and it was awful because we had dead grass everywhere. I mean, that's kind of what California faces all the time. So, but yeah, so yeah, if you like the heat, I don't know, like short of like controlled heat, like going into a sauna or something like that is pretty good. But all right,
sure.
So after the heat, because hard to disagree with that one. What do you got next?
All right, so my number 2 is cutting grass. Okay, so at the beginning of the season, It's fun for maybe like one or two times.
Right.
After that, I'm kind of done with cutting grass.
Well, so I'm going to agree with you.
Yes.
So I have a few rants to go on about this.
Yeah.
However, I have enough to talk about the history of lawns and why we're cutting grass all the time for an
Okay.
entire show. Like that's literally
Okay.
the thing I chose for a topic. So we're going to be doing that one probably this episode and then that episode.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Because I found out
it,
some interesting information on that. So I don't want to say too much, but I'm going to agree. And if I was retired and had more free time, I'd probably be super into lawn care. But as it is now, like I like to cut it, I'll weed eat it and edge it, but it's all peer pressure. So
uh, and you know what? I may fall back with the grass here, but I'm kind of going away for the number three here with
yeah,
bugs.
okay,
So the, I don't know. I don't know how you could. I don't know how you could agree with me or disagree with me that you love bugs. I hate going outside and just you can't leave the door open because flies come in,
right,
mosquitoes come in. And then you got to treat your lawn because we have dogs.
yeah,
We have to treat it with anti-tick spray.
right.
So I got to spray the yard. So I got to keep the dogs out of the yard for at least a day because I don't want them dying
Right.
because of the
Which
chemicals
is then
I spray on
difficult,
them.
though, because they want to go in the yard.
Yes, yes.
Now, do you
So
have to do that where you do like front yard, then backyard, and then you're just taking them out front on leashes or?
yeah, so what we typically do is we'll spray the front yard first
Right.
for the anti-tick stuff, and because they don't go out in the front yard anyway.
Yeah.
And then the next day when we spray the backyard, that's we take them out on leashes to use the restroom and everything
Right.
in the front yard. So
Yeah, which is just a hassle.
yes, yes, especially my dogs because they're 80 pounds.
Yeah. So, yeah, the bugs, like, it's hard to disagree that I could do without them because, like you said, you got the flies, you
Yeah.
got the mosquitoes, you got ticks. Something I
You
would
get
add
any,
to that is yellow jackets.
yeah, yeah. You get an
Now,
increase of spiders in your house.
see, so the spiders I'm not too worried about because they're taking
Yeah,
care of some of the other stuff. Now, like yellow jackets, though, because I remember you'd have like an outdoor gathering and someone's going to get stung on the lip by a yellow jacket because it crawled into a pop can and they didn't notice. Because apparently they've never been to a picnic and don't understand that you just can't leave a can sitting by itself forever with yellow jackets in the area.
yep,
Um, Something else that I dealt with at my old house, carpenter bees.
yep,
If I do not like carpenter bees. They cannot sting you except the queen. However, they will
yeah.
fly in your face and just like bump into you. It's like they're trying to start a fight, and then
Well,
they
and
bore into like we had a carport kind of deal.
yeah,
Oh my goodness. They just shredded that thing. They usually aren't that bad, but like ours got like real bad in like a super quick span and I didn't notice it. You got to like get steel wool out and try to put it into the holes to stop them from getting back in there. But then they just make new ones. They're bugs. They don't have to go to a job, so they have plenty of time while you're at work to do their thing. And
yeah.
then they're just a general nuisance. So
Well, and for the listeners, maybe, well, probably, there's no maybe to it. You probably will do it. Uh, you used to raise bees for honey and everything, right? So
well,
we could do a whole
not
podcast
me
about.
specifically, but like my family, like my grandpa, my brother,
Yeah.
they did it. So I grew up around it. So I have a pretty good familiarity with it. So
So
I'm a
stay,
I'm
so
a
stay
little,
around for a podcast about how to do bees and honey.
well, yeah, I'm sure it'll come up. Like again, and some things have changed from when I was more familiar with it. But yeah, that'll definitely come
Sure.
up. But that also makes me hate the yellow jackets a little bit more
Yeah.
because you'd have to occasionally deal with them trying to like rob the hive and that kind of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it wouldn't happen a lot, but every so often you'd go out there and there'd be like a handful of yellow jackets, or like you just end up with like there's all kinds of weird problems with it. Like you'll have like your hive swarmed like a neighbor's house, and then you gotta try to get the swarm. It's just there's a lot of weird hassles that you would never think of. Generally with the swarm, like all you got to do is grab the queen and put her back in the hive, and you're good because you're typically clipping the queen's wings, so she can't fly anywhere. But if she decides to crawl away, or they hatch a new one, or there's a lot more to it, but that's the general basis of it. Like you'll see pictures online of like some dude with like bee arm, where it looks like he's like a reject from the Fantastic Four, and he's probably just holding like a queen in his hand, and then all the other bees flew around him. And
gotcha.
So, but okay. So after bugs, what do you got?
So, my other thing is, so for whatever reason, animals like rabbits, mice, chipmunks decide to congregate in my backyard. I assume because other predators are around, because I have dogs.
Right.
And, they're going to keep, so I guess they take their chances by staying in my yard because, the coyotes and the owls and whatever else are hunting them. Well, my brown dog, as I call her, she's a boxer husky mix. She decides I want to kill everything that's in my yard. It's not either my sister or my family members, my wife and me. So she goes on a tirade of just killing anything she sees. And the problem is she doesn't kill them all the way.
Oh.
So I have to be her executioner.
Oh, and Jesus.
I'm like, and because she brings them half dead to me and just lays them on the concrete on my patio and just walks away. Like, okay, here you go. And I'm thinking, I don't want to be your executioner. I don't want to do this. I don't want to kill.
Right, but if you're even if you're out there, because your backyard's like long enough that you're not sprinting to the other side of the yard. Like,
yes.
Like, unless you get, like, Usain Bolt there, there's no saving whatever's caught. So, basically, like, something will hop into your yard, and then it's too late.
And like I said, she half kills squirrels is her favorite. And I'm like, I don't want to be your executioner. I hate this.
Right.
So, in summertime, in the wintertime, I guess to stay away from my yard. I don't know. Right. I've never had this problem, only in the summertime.
Man.
And like I said, I don't like killing cute little furry squirrels and rabbits and
right. But
like
at that point, it's a mercy kill, so you kind of have.
Oh yeah, you have to do it because they're half dead anyway. Yeah, it's terrible. It's an experience that I wish she wouldn't let me experience.
Yeah, that went way darker than I thought it was going to be. I am sorry to hear that.
Hey, it's part of the summer that I hate Ross.
With good reason. So all right. So after being the hired assassin of your dog, what comes after that?
Fireworks.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like looking at fireworks maybe for like 20 minutes, and I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah. Like one time.
So there are, it seems fireworks attracts drunks.
Yeah.
And teenage boys.
Right.
To want to do it, M80s and bottle rockets during the day, middle of the night. It's
early
not so
in the morning.
It's not as bad as where I'm living right now. There's still some coming because people are idiots. But
right.
Where I used to live, I mean, my God, they would do it 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, that is my experience as well. Because like our old neighbors specifically. So and that's like you're talking like in that neighborhood, houses were maybe 10 feet apart, so not a lot of space, and we had like old windows, like old house with like not really any insulation. So you're hearing outside. Like it's in your house. Like there's basically nothing there. And they would do, like, I don't know how they afforded the amount of fireworks they would let off. Because it would be, like, July 4th is one thing. And it's like, okay, yeah, you're going to light off a ton of stuff. We get it. That's July 4th. But it'd be like June 4th.
Yes.
And it's like, all right, you're a month out. And it's like, there's no way, like even conservative estimate, $400.
So here. So, if it was just July 4th, I would just cowboy it up and just deal with it. But usually, like you said, June 4th until about, I don't know, August 18th, probably around there.
Yeah.
you get fireworks until I guess they run out of money. I don't know, but yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and like, so one of our dogs, he passed away kind of recently, but he freaked out over fireworks really bad. And so for us, that made it way worse. Because it's like, well, if, we could deal with it if it was July 4th. We could take him on a car ride or something like that for a while and wait till the worst of it's over. But when it's like every day for a month straight due to the neighborhood, it gets real old.
Yes.
And then, like, you can call the police, but they really don't care about the fireworks too much.
Well, and bonus now in Ohio, they have legalized shooting fireworks.
Yeah. Yeah, which changed the like the class, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So again, I thought I was going to disagree with animals and critters until I found out that it was playing executioner to them. So we're doing pretty good with agreeing. What do you got?
Yeah.
What?
So now
let's keep them coming for a bit.
you may disagree with this one, but I doubt it. But so cookouts.
Okay.
So then you're thinking, well, how could you hate cookouts? I like cookouts if it's my wife, myself, and the doggies.
Right.
I don't like cookouts when it's forced family gatherings and you're hanging out with people that you're like,
Yeah, where you'd rather just be done.
Yeah. And always. So when people are like, when I'm at other people's houses, they try to cook me a steak. And I tell them, don't cook me a steak because you're not going to cook it the way I like it. Because I like my food burnt. This is how I am. And people always look at me weird. And it's just who I am. So I remember this one time I went to this cookout, and this guy's like, "Hey, got some steaks on the grill." I was like, "Well, let me know when you take your steaks off for everyone else, and I'll just go out and get my own." He's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I was like, "Well, I like mine burnt to a crisp." He's like, "Well, you ain't gonna do that with the steak. I'm cooking for you." I was like, "Well, it's my steak. It's gonna go in my mouth, right?" Type thing. And they try to dictate to me how I like my steak. So it just got into a whole big spiel about, you need to eat your steaks medium rare. No, I don't like that.
So the first time I saw you cook meat that was red, I was appalled, because if you are someone, now I'm not going to try to force how you eat food on you, but I am going to give an opinion on it, kind of thing, to be like, oh, that's interesting. Because I would basically describe it as like, oh, you just want it ruined. Okay. Like if I was cooking you a steak, I'd be like, so you want yours ruined? I can do that. Whatever. Like, I mean, I basically bought you cube steak because I'm not spending money on a ribeye for you, but because you're just going to waste it. But like, yeah, if I'm like, hey, if I was like, I'm going to buy ribeyes for everybody and I'm going to cook one for Saul, I know that I might as well just like butterfly it or fillet it from the beginning, just so it cooks all the way through the same speed as everybody else's. There are people who get, and it sounds like the person you were around, they get legitimately offended by cooking a steak well done.
Yes.
And like, I wouldn't do it for myself. Now, occasionally, like I go for medium to medium well for the most part, like you know, like a little bit of pink. I don't want it burnt or whatever, but I usually do like the reverse sear, where you put it in like an oven. Like I don't have like the sous vide thing. Put it in the oven at like 150 or 130. You know, try to get it to like about 130 or 135 is what I do, and then pan sear it the rest of the way. Like some butter, and like do that. Like I'll use ghee sometimes, like, which is like the refined butter, I guess is a good way to put it. But basically pan sear it, and then I'll do like a butter based with like some thyme and stuff like that. Like that's when I'm actually going all out for it. Sometimes I just use the George Foreman grill and hope for the best. Now, what's more offensive to people though is like, you want it well done, I'll put ketchup on a steak. And if you really want to blow someone's brain, like if you were to get it well done and then ask for ketchup,
Yeah.
they might murder you. Like that's how insane. Like as weird as vegans can be about stuff, steak people are the same way.
Well, they're also weird about putting steak sauce on there.
Yeah, well, basically any sauce, like
because they're like, well, no, I cooked it fine. If you cook it fine, you don't need blah, 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 blah. Like, shut up. This is the way I like to eat it.
Well, because like I make it the way I like, and I don't always use ketchup, but once in a while, it's like, you know what, I'm gonna use a little bit of ketchup, and I'm not doing it on every single bite.
No, I've never done ketchup before. That sounds weird, but I mean,
I did it when I was little and didn't know better, and I kind of liked it. Now, one thing that people always have said is like, even if you are going to put sauce on it or something, something you can do to help people, especially if someone's cooked it for you that's like not a restaurant or something. Like restaurants, you probably don't care. But like if someone else has cooked it, the first bite or two, take it without the sauce just to see how it is. And maybe be like, oh, that's really good. I always put A1 on my steak, but this is a good, you can do something like that. If you're worried about their feelings. Like some people, you might just be like, this. You might actually use that to be like, oh man, gonna need some A1 for this one.
maybe I'll keep that in mind. I'll just be like, man, this steak.
Yeah,
I need some A1 for this because
like there's the finesse way, and then there's the I'm gonna hurt some feelings here. Like basically just call out their steak cooking ability. Be like, I can't believe no one else is using A1.
or as my wife says, the Saul way. So
yeah,
there's the right way to do it.
That's fair. All right, so I kind of agree though. Like for cookouts, smaller cookouts are better than larger ones. But that's as I've gotten older, I've felt that way. When I was younger, bigger cookouts were better. So that might be an age thing. But all right.
Well, we are.
Yeah, we're getting close. You want to do one last one?
I got a couple more. I'll just get to the best ones.
Okay.
So if you've ever been to the grocery store and you're like, oh man, I needed to go to Walmart, we'll say.
Yeah.
But you have groceries in your car. But see, if it's wintertime, you can go inside because it's cold outside.
Yes.
You can't do that in the summertime because if you have a bag of ice in your car, you can't stop at Walmart or wherever else you want to go. You got to go straight back to your house.
Yeah, like especially if they're far apart, because we'll go to like Costco sometimes, and then it's like, it is too hot. I don't know of a way to do this, and I'm not bringing a cooler just to go to the groceries. I mean, I suppose that might be a legitimate solution, but I'm not putting that much work into it.
Well, but sometimes if you're like me, and I can't be the only person like this. If you go to the grocery store and you're going back home, you're like, oh, I needed to go to, I was gonna say Blockbuster. I'm dating myself, but I don't know, wherever, like Kohl's or wherever. I mean, sometimes things just happen, and you're like, oh yeah, I need to do this, but now I can't because
you did it out of order.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know, unless you have someone else with you that you can leave in the car and run the air conditioning. Yeah. Like that's your only hope. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, you're bringing out like good points for everything. It's hard for me to disagree with. Like cookouts is about the clothes. I'm sure there's people who love fireworks, but they're the people setting off the fireworks all the time.
Yes.
Any other good hitters, or is you want to call it there?
So let me do one more. I'll say, for whatever reason, I don't know why it's this way. I mean, and this happens even in the springtime. Anytime there's good weather out, people like to say, hey, it's really nice out. You want to listen to my music, don't you? And they will blare their music at red lights, down the street. And no, I don't want to hear your crappy music.
Yeah. We're right by a highway, kind of like a through town highway, and you'll just hear like as it like fades. A lot of times it's motorcycles, because the motorcycles have apparently they got a hold of Motorhead and got their sound set up and somehow converted that inside the motorcycle. So
yes. So I have more, but it's just me complaining about
Well, basically, we'll save those for later. But yeah, I mean, all that stuff, I just don't see it as bad. So let's see here. We are making a note of something real quick. Do you have anything else? We're not going to start pushing like social media or anything just yet. We'll get a couple episodes in, and then we'll start irritating everybody by talking about bells and buttons.
Wait a minute now. So, is this train stopping now? Or are we?
Here we go.
Yeah.
That would be the brakes slamming on. But
slam it on. We're in the train station now.
Need to set it on a timer, and it just automatically happens, and it's like, oh well, I guess we're done.
You know what? That would be a great way to do it. Actually, we're just talking all of the train. Nope, we're done.
Yeah, you can tell like as we speed up our voices, and we start talking like an auctioneer that the show's winding down. But yeah, I will say we do have the only thing I'll kind of push here is we have Boxcartales at gmail.com. So for right now, that is a way to reach us if you so choose. I will put that in the show notes. So we will be back whenever this end ends. The next week will be the new show.
Yes.
There you go. So
that's how podcasts work, people.
Well, some shows are varied days. I know these two guys who varied from Friday to Sunday for years. So
there's some though that like I don't understand like how they get a following. Like they'll do it like once every 2 months.
Yeah,
or something like that.
If you're awesome, you can do that.
Sure.
Hopefully one day we can do a monthly podcast and somehow not have to do anything else.
Yes.
So all right, here we go.